Do you want to create a living fence or a privacy screen? Today we're going to do a comparison on the two most popular arborvitaes used for this purpose, the green giant arborvitae and the emerald green arborvitae. We're at a local garden center where both types of these arborvitaes are readily available. We have the green giant arborvitae as well as the emerald green arborvitae. Now we're going to start talking about some of the similarities. Both these types of arborvitaes like to grow in a full sun location, and they both prefer a moderately moist but well-draining soil. Now arborvitaes do like water, so you want to make sure that you keep them well watered, especially when they're newly planted and while they're establishing, and during any times of drought. Now, let's talk about some of the differences. One of the key differences between these two is their size as well as their deer resistance. Now, you can see that these look pretty similar in size at the moment. However, over time, the green giant will get, just as its name suggests, pretty giant, and the emerald green will have more of a compact, more narrow growth habit. Now, when it comes to deer resistance, I just want to say that although the green giant arborvitae is more deer resistant, that is in my observation of the trees in my neighborhood, because we have both the emerald green and the green giant planted in our neighborhood. And these get eaten by the deer and these do not. So deer resistance, it all depends on the deer that you have in your area. If deer are hungry, they will eat anything. So I just wanted to make that disclosure. Another key difference between these two arborvitaes is their growing zones. The emerald green arborvitae is slightly hardier at a USDA growing zone 3 through 8. The green giant arborvitae is hardy in USDA growing zones 5 through 8. Now let's talk about the green giant arborvitae's size. This arborvitae gets to be 25 to 40 feet in height and 12 to 15 feet in width. And here they are in my neighborhood. Here, my neighbors have a living fence made out of the green giant arborvitaes. Now these have been planted here for about 5 years and they have grown really quickly. These are a great option for a fast fence. They're also very deer resistant. We live in the country and we have lots of deer that visit all of our gardens. And you can see that we are right by the street, which means these are not protected by any fences and they are growing beautifully and not affected by the deer. They've planted these here in a staggered pattern. So as they grow in and create a nice dense privacy border between the street and their yard. And just recently, they went ahead and planted a couple more. And all of these trees were this size when they were first planted. So you can see here, this is about a 5-foot arborvitae. I'm 5'4". It's just about my height or a little bit taller. These were just planted last season, and in no time, they're going to be just as large as these here that have been planted for 5 years. So if you want, again, a fast-growing tree, deer resistant, the green giant arborvitae is the right pick for you. So you can see in my neighbor's application of the green giant arborvitaes, they're looking great because they have plenty of space to grow. Now let's talk about the size on the emerald green arborvitae. These will stay more compact at about 12 to 15 feet in height and only about 3 to 4 feet in width. So these are great for a city lot or anywhere that you have a small space. But if you deal with deer, they might not be a great option because deer will sometimes chew on these arborvitaes to the point that they can reach and then they can become misshapen. My parents actually have a bunch of these planted in their city lot, and I'm going to go ahead and show that to you now. And here we are in my parents' backyard, and my parents have a home in the city, and in the city they don't deal with deer. Their whole yard is fenced in with a chain link fence, which they didn't like the look of. So what they did was about 15 years ago, they planted a whole wall all around their garden of the emerald green arborvitae, and they've filled in beautifully and created a lot of privacy and a nice green backdrop for their garden. Now here you can see that these emerald green arborvitaes look different than the others. That is because this group here is only about 5 years old. The neighbor's dogs used to like to go to the bathroom here, so it killed off a few of the trees and they needed to be replaced. So these here have their natural growth habit with a pointed top. So you can notice how nice and compact they are, which is great for an application such as in a city lot. And we'll do some shots around the garden so you can see that while there are homes all around this city property, it does create a great sense of privacy with all of this dense wall of green trees. So the emerald green is a great option for a smaller property or in an area that is fenced in or where you don't deal with deer. And if you're wondering why they look flat like that, my parents prefer to trim them to keep them looking like a nice tight clipped hedge and fence. So that's why they look that way. But the newer ones, they're still waiting for them to get up to size before they go ahead and trim them so that they all blend in. So these have done wonderfully in serving the purpose of creating privacy and blocking off the chain link fence. So you can see that in my parents' yard, they have the perfect application for the Emerald Green Arborvitae. Theirs have grown in beautifully. They've clipped it like a nice tight hedge. It's created like a living wall, very similar to what you see in a beautiful English garden. So there are differences between these two. You can see that the green giant arborvitae grows in a nice loose habit. It gets very broad and wide, and this one will grow in a tighter, more compact habit. So I hope that this video was helpful to highlight the differences between the green giant arborvitae and the emerald green arborvitae, so that if you're looking to create a living fence or privacy hedge, you can make the right choice for your garden. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button, and please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos. And we'll see you soon.